Welcome back, everybody. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to simply push delete here. Now, we're going to make another plate here, but I'm going to also show you just another way to do this here. Now, I'm going to add in a cylinder. Now, don't move the cylinder around. You have the option of adding in the vertices here. Now, these vertices, if we look in very close, and we can add in more, you can see that we're essentially making it more smooth. Now it starts off at 32, so if we go 32, right, you can see that it looks still quite blocky. We double that to 64, okay, it looks less blocky. It looks more like a cylinder. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to say when it comes to detailed and specifically curved details. The more curves you have, the more geometry it's going to be. Let's try and double this, so it's going to be quite a bit more than 32. Okay, you can see that that is pretty good here. And then if you go to 256, right, that's a lot. So let's just actually go ahead and let's tap. And once you, by the way, once you move this, you can't really go back to this here. So here we go. Now that's a lot of vertices here. Let's hop into face select mode. And you can see that that's quite a bit of vertices here. But at the same time, if we kind of push 7 on the numpad, that actually looks like a cylinder here, even though it's made up of little tiny faces. Very, very, very tiny faces. All right, you can see that they are just a bunch of rectangles. And that's the way the geometry really works here. Let's compare this here. So let's go ahead and let's add in another cylinder. But instead of 256, I'm going to put it back to 32. Okay, and we'll just simply move this over. And if we push 7, you can see the difference. You can see the difference in between the two. Just simply move this over. This is very smooth and this is not as smooth. The question is to you is whether the person viewing this in whatever way, shape, or form is going to notice. All right, so we can do that. You can make this kind of details with cylinders. You can also do the same thing with UV spheres, right? So we have a sphere here, which actually, if we just undo that here, we have 32 vertices here. Let's move that over. Let's add in another UV sphere here, and let's add that to 256. Now this is going to be a lot of vertices, by the way. Okay, and then you also want the rings as well. So 256. So there's 2 of these here. Now that might actually that might take a long time to work here, but and you can see that the computer did lag a little bit. Okay, so we have this here, and if we tab into edit mode, wow, that's a lot of faces. Okay, so you definitely don't want to ever put that in the game. Now, if we look at this here, right, you can see it looks kind of like a disco ball. You can see the difference in between the two. Now, you can actually turn in this into this sphere into this detailed sphere by adding in the subdivision surface modifier. Okay, and if we add it in maybe 3 times, let's go ahead and let's push apply. And then we tab in, and you can see that we do have similar amount of faces here, right? And if we click on this here, yeah, it's roughly the same. Roughly the same. And so you can see that we got this here as well as this here. Kind of neat. So if you want to do that, I'm just going to undo that until it actually works. There we go. And then we can just undo that here. So that's what you can do here. Now notice if we add in a subdivision surface modifier to this, it completely messes it up. In fact, if we add it in a lot, it ends up looking like kind of a acorn squash, which is kind of cool actually. Let's go and apply this here, and you can see that this is not what you want to do. So subdivision surface modifiers do not always work the way you want it to. I'm just going to undo that. Okay, and you can see that, you know, we got a cylinder here, and adding in a subdivision surface modifier to this, you know, it would be cool, but let's just take a look. It probably wouldn't give us anything useful. Yeah, you can see that, you know, just even with the second iteration, we almost get to a sphere. Not quite, but we almost do. So that is the theory behind subdivision surface modifiers and what you can do off the top. Usually when I create a cylinder or a sphere, I usually like to pick the amount of vertices and the level of detail that I want right when I pick it. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.